Ooh. Takes a while.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. We're live now.
Hello, everyone.
I wonder how long I was sat there like that. Yeah. Well, I actually realised we were on it. So, folks, here we are in Rebels and Rule Breakers. We are here with one of our master rebels, Nadia Martelli, who is one of the most master of all the master rebels. In fact, if I could write a job description, a role description for a master rebel, Nadia would be it. If you look up master rebel in the dictionary, you see Nadia's face.
Cool. Hi, everyone.
If I could clone you and create more of you, that would be absolutely amazing. Not to at all discount any of the other absolutely amazing master rebels on the Rebel Squad. Not. Hey Tracy, how you doing?
Hey Trace.
So here we go. We are interviewing Nadia today because why would we not, frankly? Nadia has, as you know, we've sort of put on the listing, got an incredible journey, you know, or several journeys to talk about from their lifetime, and some incredible learnings. But more than that, has an approach to personal growth that is second to none. I mean, so committed, and never, you know, in the time I've known you, Nadia, you've never ever waned in terms of commitment to that personal growth.
No.
So you've been a master rebel now for how long?
It's coming up 6 months, I think, isn't it? Is it the 5 months? I think.
Is that all it is? It must be more than that, surely.
Not as a master rebel, no.
Ah, right. Okay, so we did the last team refresh in November. Yeah. So you won't. Yeah, you will be. It will be. Yeah. December, January, February, March. Yeah, that amount of time.
It is that amount of time.
And you have been in our rebel world for a lot longer than that, haven't you?
Yeah, it's I think it's about 1 year and 4 months or something, 1 year and 3 months.
So you've been in it since really early days, haven't you?
Yeah.
Joined Rebel Yale Club and all of that stuff, which we'll get into shortly.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you. Give us a little bit of pottage history, and you know, kind of how we've come to this point in Nadia Martelli's life.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Liverpool. One of 4, the youngest girl. I've got a younger brother and 2 older sisters. Grew up in Liverpool. Had some sort of issues with my mental health at about age 11 and age 15, but managed to go through school really well. Then I went to uni and did a combined arts degree. Again, the mental health thing crept in. I think what happened was I got to be in a band when I was 23. And that really boosted my self-confidence. It got rid of a lot of depression and anxiety because I was in front of people and performing. And we had quite a lot of success, you know, shout out there to the people in the band if you're listening. So I got in the band, and then I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, which was quite a challenge. And I sort of went in and out of hospital for a while. But in there, I learned how to be around every sort of person and not judge them. And I think that's something that I've brought into the rebel world with me. And I'd say that the adversity is where I learned a lot of my sets of values and belief systems, just in how to not judge, how to be open, how to listen, and how to stay well, you know, despite any diagnosis I might have had. Unfortunately, then my partner died of cancer really suddenly in 2005, and that sort of pulled the rug from under me and undid a lot of the hard work that I'd done to stay well and to be well. And I was working at the time and stuff, so I was doing really well. And that led to a few bad choices and a few losses that I sort of thought, right, I'm going to do something about this. So I moved away from Derby, went to live with my sister in Reading, and that sort of had its ups and downs. It did what it needed to do, but I came back to Derby and to be with my current partner, Mark. And we've been together 11 years now, so that's been really cool. And then shortly afterwards, I was sort of diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, which, what if people don't know, is an umbrella term for a lot of things. But I've got multiple personality disorder. So again, from that and learning from therapy and having to be in therapy, I've learned a lot of values and beliefs that I've brought into the rebel world. And that's sort of where I'm at now. I'm on a journey still. I'm on a growth and a development, and trying to see if I can be authentic, you know, and can be unapologetically myself, which is what I aim for.
And you know, I have never ever seen a hint of you that isn't exactly those things, you know, that isn't very authentic and very unapologetically you. And you totally get the message that we're trying to convey with this movement.
That's it.
I mean, that's quite a journey, isn't it? And one of the things is there's a lot of things that stand out for me about that, like some things you were saying, like about not judging people, and that through adversity you've learned your belief systems and values, and that is always just, no matter what we go through, there are always learnings that can be gained, but also that you said you've learned how to stay well despite any diagnosis that you've had. That I find fascinating. That you have never, by the sounds of it, for any long period of time succumbed to what labels you've had put on you from a medical perspective, from a mental health perspective. You've always risen above it, or almost, I suspect, seen it as a little bit of a challenge to rebel against good regardless. To rebel against. Absolutely. I
mean, I refuse to be put into boxes in any part of my life, and obviously my mental health and my mental health has been such part of my life that I think if I didn't rebel, I wouldn't be here now. And you have to push your comfort zone, you have to push your boundaries, you have to learn new boundaries. You have to go through that to arrive at where you want to be.
We're getting a lot of love in the comments already, Nadia. So Lisa, our Master Rebel Lisa, is saying, I've always been in awe of your authenticity and openness. Totally agree with that. Got lots of love hearts from Sean. Is it Keely or Kylie?
Kylie.
Yeah. And then Sandra Scott, who didn't think she could come tonight, is saying she's made up that she can listen to this, and we're made up to have you here, Sandra.
Excellent.
We've got some good numbers already. Cool. Because there's a lot of people that support you here, and of course the Master Rebel team are all here as well, and commenting and all of that stuff. So
I'm so glad to be part of the group. I mean, my sister invited me in. She was part of the group to start with, and she invited me in. And I just thought, I like the sound of it to start with, because, I have rebelled in various areas of my life. And I thought, it's not a go out and protest and stand there and demo, which is all relevant, but it's just not my thing at the moment. So it was more about the like-minded people and the depth of the group. Does that make sense? The sort of, there's light-sidedness, there's learning stuff, there's just sharing of memes, there's all sorts of things going on. There's all the events that you put on. And I really, really liked it. And I thought, this is my tribe. This is where I want to be. And because of that, I think I took tentative steps to start with at being open. And then I just dove in one day and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to dive in and say, oh, by the way, I'm non-binary. And I was so embraced and not judged. And that was the first time I'd done that. And it was wonderful. It was liberating. And it's only improved.
Yeah. Your mum is commenting now about how proud she is of you.
Very good.
And that she feels Rebel Yell Club has helped. Thank you, Risa. I appreciate that comment. And actually, speaking of that moment where you just dove in, you know, your mum had to sort of brace herself, really, didn't she, for like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is like, you know,
yeah, she wasn't aware at the time, but she's been great, you know, she's embraced it. All my family have, all my friends have, all the Rebel family have. And my partner has. He's been absolutely wonderful about it. He's a star, you know, and I couldn't ask for any more from people, really, in being accepted for who I am.
It's been a real privilege and an education, I think, for me and for the rest of the team, and hopefully lots of people who are in the group as well, around that whole you know, non-binary thing. And the language, you know, I've got used to now saying they rather than she, and that sort of thing.
That's very validating for us.
That's good. That's really good. And you know, I also know you're very patient with people who you know, don't always choose the right pronouns, because you know, people are making the effort. And you know, we had in the previous round of the team, we had our amazing MK who was gender non-conforming, and gave us a great education around that as well. So it was great to get you then just naturally coming into the team after that as well. So that's been just brilliant, because actually you both have two quite different perspectives and experiences of that.
I think we do.
And again, you know, help me understand that just because somebody says they're gender non-conforming or gender fluid or non-binary or whatever it is, or you know, any other you know, LGBTQ or queer sort of version or whatever terminology we want to use, it's not like you're straight, bi, gay, or other. You know, there's lots and lots of nuances, there's lots and lots of different, just like anybody being a human, we all have you know, just because I'm a coach, we all have you know,
that's right,
a person that lives in Warrington, you know, we all have different experiences of that one thing, don't we? So
and I think that's good for me to be different to MK. Much as I love MK, you know,
you're very different.
We've had very different experiences, and that have brought us to being able to be ourselves in that part of our lives, you know. But no, I've had nothing but support, really.
I'm just elated for you that you know, this has been a positive experience. And speaking of positive experiences, you're going to love the comments when you get to read these after, because I'm like, I can't keep up with them actually, because they're coming fast. It's really nice. It's so supportive.
Excellent. Everyone.
Just fantastic stuff. It really is.
Great stuff.
So you know, you came to R&R through your sister, and you liked the fact, you know, it was kind of perhaps a little, well, I hope a little bit different. We have that light and shadow, we have lots of different mixtures of content. It's not about raging against the machine, but neither is it about, you know, as somebody once asked, you know, wearing flares and being hippie and skipping around all fluffy. We can do that if we want, and that's fine, you know. But it's also about talking about the important things that you know, create a human experience, really. And you know, you progressed your sort of rebel journey, I guess, from being a really active member of Rebels and Rule Breakers, and then you came to join Rebel Yell Club, which is the membership club, sort of private off Facebook coaching experience club that we have. So talk to me about how that sort of happened for you.
It sort of felt like a natural progression when I found out about it in Rebels and Rule Breakers from yourself and various posts and things. I was curious, so I found out a bit more about what it was for, what it did. And I think I remember coming on a coaching call and asking you if it was just for people who were in work and in corporations and stuff.
You did,
and you were like, no, it's absolutely for anybody, and it's about personal development and all that side of the coaching side of things. So it felt like a natural progression from therapy to Rebels and Rule Breakers to Rebel Yell Club. And to be honest, it's been life-changing. It really has been life-changing. It's been a life-changing year from leaving therapy almost exactly to the day a year ago. Almost exactly.
Congratulations.
Thank you. To joining Rebel Yell from my own personal development journey that I'd started to get back on and to grow with and to learn about myself, to be self-aware, to give to other people, to understand other people, to just put myself out there again and think, do you know what, I've got some potential in areas that I want to expand on, like songwriting. I've been songwriting with Kev Andrews, who's a great musician, and just being more creative. I'm studying art at the moment through a free course at college online, and Rebel Yell Club sort of goes alongside that in my daily routine. So I've got all these things that I have to do or that I want to do, and Rebel Yell is part of that. So I will look at the modules, I will work through them, and that's what it is. It's about doing the work.
And you really do that work. You put that in.
Well, why would I not? Why would I not? You know, if I'm going to join a membership club that's for the benefit of me and the other members in it, why would I not do the work? You know, that doesn't make sense to me. That's like, hello, you know. And it's not about the money. It's about being a member of something.
Yeah. It's a community, it's a family.
And it is a community, and I want to be an active part of that community, and I think I am. And part of that is because I do the modules, and I do turn up to the masterclasses, some of them, and, you know, when I can. And it's great to be part of that community. So why would I not? You know, that's just a natural thing for me to do that amount of work.
I feel like I need to like get clips of this as sound bites, because you're an amazing like advert for us. You really are. It's so good.
Well, I'm just being authentic. I'm just being honest. You know, I'm not bullying anything up for any other reason other than, for me, Rebel Yell Club has been part of my life changing journey over the last year, and that's all. You know, it's just the way it is.
Yeah. Do you know, this is great actually. Sandra is really commenting on with some great stuff, and it's making me recap on kind of how, you know, or reflect on how, you know, some of these links that we make that create brilliant opportunities, and saying that first of all, wow, this is so good. Sandra's really enjoying it. And how I got introduced to Sandra through Joe Summers, who's also a member of Rebel Yell. Joined the group, invited Michaela, your sister.
That's right, yeah.
That then came to you.
That's right.
How everything happens for a reason. Oh, thank you, Sandra. That's a lovely comment about, she's just saying about being proud of the group. That's lovely, thank you. And but, you know, Lisa's saying you're an inspiration, and Lisa Phillips is saying how much she loves the modules, and, you know, you really contribute. You provide a level of richness to those coaching calls and things that we do all the time. And it, you know, it's just, as I say, you know, if I could clone you both as a Rebel Yell member and a Master Rebel, like, so we'd have an army of people to change the entire world in a very short space of time, I think.
Well, you've got to change your own world, haven't you? You know, you've got to change your own world, and you've got to find the means to do that. And I just found it here, you know.
And you know, you contribute a lot to the free group as well, the Facebook group, the one we're, you know, right now. And you know, you're very brave about sharing stuff. You're very, you know, you will just find things that you think, you know, that I get the impression you see something somewhere and it inspires you, and you think, oh well, actually maybe that'll inspire other people as well, and you just put it out there. You know, you don't overthink it, you just do it, and, you know, everything you share is brilliant. And it, you know, it was really obvious to me from the start that you were, you know, I was looking out for people who were starting to rise to the top in Rebels and Rule Breakers in terms of contributors and people who are really putting themselves out there and being vulnerable. And you know, you very quickly did that. And it was very apparent that you understood what we were trying to achieve here, and that, you know, very much led to me inviting you in as a Master Rebel. And, you know, it's just, you're, as I say, you're so open about stuff, and when it comes to talking about difficult stuff, you know, I'm just wondering what are the reasons you feel able to bear, you know, the stuff you encountered is difficult, but yet somehow you put yourself out there, and then there must be, you know, a reason for that.
An impetus, yeah. I think what it is, I mean, I'll go back to therapy again. It's not been all about therapy. I think a lot of it is my family have been always really good at listening to me and working stuff through with me, even when I've been psychotic and not very well, you know, or when I've been really well and I've just been thinking something's because of my mental illness, when in fact it's what most of the population go through or whatever, you know. But as far as the Master Rebel thing went, I think it was I thought very, very carefully about saying yes to becoming a Master Rebel, because I thought, what would it mean to me, and what would it mean to other people? And I think what it is, it's like, it's not an us and them thing. It's not Master Rebels and then the rest of Rebels. It's an us and us thing. It's a one collective all the time. And within that, you know, I've learned that I can listen, I can be non-judgmental, I can respond, I can react, I can show my authenticity, I can lead, I can follow, I can be whatever I need to be as a Master Rebel, hoping that other people will be inspired or something will click with someone and I'll go, actually, do you know what, I want to join that Rebel Yell Club as well, or do you know what, I'm going to get my saxophone out tonight and go and play it because I'm really inspired to be creative, or you know, whatever it might be. But I think, yeah, my family and learning from other people, I think, is what helps me to be so open and talk about difficult subjects.
Yeah. And you just never know, do you, what, you know, I put content out there all the time and talk about my experiences a lot of the time, or the stuff that rattles around in my head in the dark, cobwebby corners. And, you know, sometimes it gets a lot of traction, sometimes it doesn't. And actually, you know, that doesn't massively matter to me, because I think if you just have faith that it will reach maybe one person that needs to reach that day, and you may never know about that. That's, you know, that's part of being of service, isn't it? And you know,
and I think the rest of the team, the Master Rebel team, are very good at that.
Yes, they are.
I think we're all very good at putting stuff out there, and if it just reaches one person that day who needs to hear it. Jamie put up a post yesterday that says, "You are enough." And I was sitting here getting ready for this interview, and I was like, nobody's going to want to know what I've got to say. Nobody's going to be interested. I'm going to waffle, blah, blah, blah. And Jamie put up, "You are enough." And bang, I was fine. So, you know, it's the same with me in the posts. I put up the posts not to get X amount of hits or likes or whatever. It's because I think someone somewhere in Rebels and Rule Breakers or in Rebel Yell Club will benefit from this quote or this picture or whatever it might be, because I can feel it and I want to share that.
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps here, Nadia, because of what you're saying, but also simultaneously seeing the beautiful comments that are coming through. Lisa is genuinely in tears listening to this. Good tears. Sandra's saying how interesting it is. Cheryl's sending you loads of love and saying how much that she values your viewpoint, and on and on and on and on and on. And it, you know, I just think and actually this is probably, you know, you've inspired me to sort of publicly put out there that actually the Master Rebel scene that we've got right now, I decided the other day, didn't I, that I'm going to stick with the current lineup. So the plan for the keen-eyed members amongst you should be that right now, at exactly this timing, in fact, probably to the day, I should be doing a reshuffle of the Master Rebels team, of the Rebel squad, because we do that every 6 months. But actually I've decided not to do that this time and to remain with the lineup that we have. So obviously that's Nadia, Lisa Avens, Paul Harris, Cheryl Spate, and Tracy O'Rourke, and Jamie Denyer, sorry. think it was a man's name that I needed to add in there. And you know, it's just a perfect combo. Every single person in that lineup is so individual, and is offering so much of themselves,
definitely,
and such diversity of experience, at least. It's, you know, there's no need for me to exactly broken, there's no need, and I agree. There are bound to be the odd person that comes up that we think, oh, actually, you know, we collectively might think, oh, that person actually is pretty cool, maybe we should, you know, we might invite people in here and there. But actually we've got a great group right now, haven't we? And
I think we've got a great team.
You know,
and I think now's the time for us to really show what we can do as well, collectively. Collectively as a team, and collectively as Rebels and Rule Breakers and Rebel Yell Club. I think now is a really exciting time to be around.
I agree. Charlotte's here. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, Charlotte. I think she was ringing me a second ago.
Oh, really? Hey, she could have come on.
But I had my phone on silent. I had my phone on silent. I'm glad she's here. Hi, Charlotte. Really glad you're here, mate.
Hope you're well, darling. So we're not changing the lineup. We're keeping it as it is. So that's, you know, that's an official announcement. What would you say then, Nadia, if you had to name a thing that you were most proud of in your life? Because there must be so many things, you know, really, that you could mention after, you know, the potted history you gave us before. What would be perhaps the thing that you would say is, you know, the biggest?
I would say, I'm torn. I would say it's being in the band, because we were successful to the degree that I was happy with. We were selling CDs in Ireland and America.
Wow.
We were on the radio. We were doing a lot of things. We got gigs at Rock City supporting the Pogues and things like that, and Nova, and it was great. Yeah.
What was the band name?
Sorry, it was called Elliott Park.
Cool.
Yeah, and before that it was Emily Said. But you can find Elliott Park on YouTube if you look for it. There's a few different Elliott Parks, but I can't remember the track that Rob put up there. But yeah, if you search for it, you can see it.
And you were the drummer, right?
I was the drummer, and I wrote some songs, and I did backing vocals as well.
Ooh, you need to check that. You need to put some links in the group.
I'll try and dig some out. I'll try and dig something out.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'd say it was a band, because it was really hard work. You know, people think being in a band's really glamorous, and you know, you get up and you get drunk and you go on stage and you just play a few songs and get paid loads of money and come off again. I mean, like it's just not that. You know, the work goes in to the bit that the audience don't see. You know, they don't see us lugging the equipment about at 3 o'clock in the morning to go and rehearse, because that's the only chance we can get to go and rehearse and stuff, or you know, rehearsing 3-4 times a week, you know, for hours on end, and having particular songwriting sessions, going in the studio, getting the merchandise done, you know, keeping up with the mailing lists. But it was great fun. You know, we went on tour, and that was just phenomenal. I would, you know, they are memories that I will take to the grave. It was great fun.
Where did you tour?
Southern Ireland.
Brilliant.
So
that must have been right good response.
It was so good, and the people were brilliant. I mean, we met a bunch of doctors in Galway, junior doctors in Galway who lived in Dublin, and we were like, "Oh, we're playing Dublin next week," and they were like, "Oh, you'll have to give us a ring." So we were like, "Yeah, we'll give us a ring." They gave us the keys to the house and said, "Come and go as you please while you're in Dublin," while they went off to work and stuff. And then there was other times we were supposed to be camping, and someone would come up to us and say, "Oh, I've got a spare couple of rooms. You can stay with us for the night if you're camping." So it was such a great tour.
Beautiful Irish hospitality.
Yeah, it was a great tour, and being in the band was great. You know, I loved every minute of it.
Wow.
And
so I'm just asking, what area of the country you live in now?
I'm in Derby now.
Derby.
So
and
East Midlands.
Yeah. She's saying I joined is it Batala? Is that how am I pronouncing it right? Brazilian samba group, and they have a few proper drummers who play the some 2 words that I probably will pronounce really badly if I attempt to say them. You just have to read that later.
Okay. You're
Also,
not put yourself out there.
I make enough of a fool of myself every day. That's the limit now.
Okay.
Also, Chief Lurker, aka Lisa Avin's husband, aka Shadow Master Rebel, because he's an unofficial but always present, ever present Master Rebel. Is searching right now for Elliot Park.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. I hope he gets the right one.
Yeah, so there's a few different bands, are they called Elliot Park?
There's a few different bands called Elliot Park, or who have Elliot and Park in the name, or song titles or whatever, so you might come up with a few answers, but I'll try and get the link off Helen Fox White, and I'll put it up there.
Thinking of original band, maybe that's an original band name. Original band names is really difficult, isn't it? Because there's never anything that hasn't been used. Like you could select ostrich, butterfly, kidneys, and probably someone's used that as well.
I'm telling you,
really hard, isn't it? I've been in bands for years and years, and you're absolutely right. It's nowhere near the glamorous thing, even as doing cover bands at pubs and events and stuff. It's bloody hard work, it
is hard work.
Connect to it.
But isn't the reward amazing?
Oh, it is. You get that moment, those fleeting moments where you're actually interacting with an audience, connecting. Yeah, totally. And being like an alter, I always think of it as like being an alter ego. So Lisa's saying we need the spelling. Is it Elliot with 2 L's and 2 T's?
1 T, but 2
L's.
1
T, 2 L's. There you go, Lisa. Charlotte's saying someone stole my someone name. Someone stole my someone name. It's tough but worth it. That's a mysterious message, Charlotte.
Yeah, I'll get that from her later. I'll say, what are you on about, Charlotte?
She's probably multitasking, typing and listening.
Yeah, I think Charlotte often multitasks. She's sometimes good at it and sometimes not.
I'm not good at it. If I'm delivering a workshop and I've got a flip chart and I'm trying to talk to the group at the same time as writing, I will often write made up words on the flip chart paper, or write what I'm saying and it what's actually on there.
It's like when I started drumming and singing at the same time, I used to sing in rhythm of the drums that I was playing rather than sing the melody.
God, yes.
It was really hard to separate my voice from my drumming.
Yeah, I really admire anyone that can do that. Charlotte meant someone stole my domain name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that happening. I remember she said that, yeah. She's multitasking.
So the band's the thing that you're probably most proud of in your life, but I know, and we've all shared in the Rebel Squad, that you've been doing some really brilliant things recently. So tell us what you've been up to in the recent weeks.
Well, I went to see Placebo in London, and it's a real story because it was like, I follow Placebo World, I think it is, on Facebook, and they were putting out there that there was 5 private gigs happening in Europe. There was only one in England, and that was going to be in London, in Islington. But it's all small gigs, so it's all private gigs. They don't want to play big venues. So I was like, I'll never get a ticket. Anyway, I sat there and watched the clock like tick down, and as soon as it hit 0, I went for it and I got 2 tickets. So I was like, excellent. My brother had already said that he'd buy the tickets for my 50th birthday present, which is coming up,
by the way.
Yeah, coming up in a couple of weeks. I'll be old, yeah.
No.
But I think it was a real journey because it was in London and I was having to go on my own. My partner couldn't come with me. So I had to really mentally prepare for it and think, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I going to put myself through a train journey on my own all the way to London when I can't just get off and get home quickly, and all these things that go through my head? I suffer from agoraphobia as well. So actually getting outside.
COVID can't have helped that.
Well, it sort of did in a way.
Really?
It sort of made me have an excuse to stay in, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But it didn't help from a health point of view. No,
Yeah,
it certainly didn't help. But yeah, so I thought, okay, why am I doing this? And I thought, I'm doing it to go and have a really good time with my brother and create a special memory. So I think that helped me to get on the train, because the reward at the other side was worth the journey. And I think that can be quite literal, or it can be quite what's it called when it's on the other level?
Figurative,
that's the word, figurative. Things, yeah. So anyway, I got down to London. My partner put me on the train this end, and my brother met me off the train the other end. Went across London, had a chill out time. The next day we just sort of tried to chill out. I was nervous as hell, and I thought, I'm going to see the band that I've loved for 25 years and tried to see, and I've never been well enough to go and see them, because the crowds, because of the travel, because of whatever standing in the way. Mm-hmm. So I thought, what is going to go wrong? But anyway, you know, I mean, we came out of Islington Station and it was like a scene out of Charles Dickens, because there was snow and wind and rain and people like, you know, and I was like,
and people shouting, "You boy, go fetch me something from Mrs. Periwinkle."
Yeah. But yeah, so we went through the Charles Dickens phase and finally got to Islington Town Hall and went in, and I thought, wow, this is really close. Like, we're really close to the stage. This is going to blow me away. And I just had the best night. It was great. I was dancing in my seat. My brother was dancing in his seat. He'd never heard the band really, apart from what I'd played him. It was just the best time. And then, of course, I had to get back across London to my brother's house and chill out there. But I was just on such a high, and that energy really pushed me forward. And the week after, I went to see Skunk Anansie in Nottingham with Mark, my partner. And I was like, I'll see you later. I'm going down the front. And I just went down the front, and I was literally against the barrier. I was front row for that.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a real sort of emotional journey, a literal journey, a mental journey. But you know what? The memories, you just can't, they're second to none. They're second, you can't put a price on them.
And that, you know, it's the memories of not just what you saw and heard, and it's the memories of the feels, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
Like being in a crowd like that, especially when it's something you're passionate about, and you know everyone else there feels the same way.
Yeah. I cried at one point.
Yeah,
I cried at one point. I was completely overwhelmed by it, and I thought, you know what, this is special. Yeah. Really special.
Wow.
And it was great to share it with my little bro, you know, because you know, I worship the ground he walks on. So
and he's been incredibly supportive, hasn't he, in the last?
He has, yeah.
I mean, for a long time, but obviously
for a long time
you've had to deal with and so on.
Yeah.
And you know, we're all so proud of you. We were so chuffed to hear how excited you were in the lead up to it and afterwards, and you know how it was a massive achievement. And I'm not being funny, London is scary at the best of times, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
never mind if you've got agoraphobia.
Yeah, luckily, I think because of COVID, the tubes weren't busy still, and everyone who was on the tube had to wear masks. London Transport, that's the stipulation. So I sort of felt quite safe, and my bro was with me, and I know that he lives in London, so you know, I knew that he was absolutely fine with travelling across London. He knew exactly where we were going, how long it would take, and all that. So it's all in detail for me. If I plan things well enough, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I won't say that I wasn't anxious, that I wasn't terrified, that I wasn't upset, that I wasn't feeling sick, because I was all those things. But you've got to put yourself out there anyway, despite all that. You've got to sit with those things and go forward despite all that. Otherwise, where are you going to be?
So true. You've got to push yourself, and actually Lisa was just saying, you know, about pushing yourself out your comfort zone, something that you do consistently. Would you be terrified if you knew that we've got at least 2 people in the chat that are voting for you to be Prime Minister, instigated by Paul Harris? So you better start the campaign soon.
Well, yeah, okay. I need a campaign manager, Emma.
Yeah, that's not going to be me. I can hardly manage my own breakfast.
Gosh, Prime Minister.
Paul has said honesty, authenticity, and vulnerable, and he loved the quote "us and us." If only politicians were more like Nadia. How cool!
Yeah. Yeah.
And here's an interesting one, right? So Charlotte is saying, I can't remember what it's right, it must be in terms of comfort zones, but she's put boundaries are made to be pushed, which I think is a really interesting point, actually, because one of the things you know, you have become very good at is maintaining, you know, different boundaries, perhaps from what Charlotte was talking about. And you are incredibly brave, but you will also, you know, we have coaching conversations a lot. You will also be very upfront to say, actually, I'm going to need to pull back from that. Or, you know, if we're having a group conversation or a masterclass, you are quite clear about saying, right, I need to step back now. Process, because there's a lot of stuff going on in here.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what feels healthy for you and what doesn't.
Yeah. I don't think that staying in a situation, because it goes back to what Tracy was saying earlier about it, just because you've started something doesn't mean you have to finish it. There are certain things that you have to see through to the end in order to get the reward, but I can dip in and out and still get the benefits that I need from how much or how long I can stay in a group conversation or a coaching call or a masterclass or whatever. And it's the same with my studies. You know, I'm studying history of art, writing for relaxation and drawing for relaxation, and the tutor's great because she lets me dip in. I mean, I always have to be there at the start of the lessons, that I don't join halfway. But if I leave the lesson, she's absolutely fine with it, because she knows that I will have stayed for as long as I possibly can. And then at some point I've said, something's triggered me, or I need to process what's happening, or I'm losing my thread, or I'm confused, or I'm just not enjoying it today, or you know, I'm having a bad day, you know, whatever it might be.
And you know that that is totally okay with our Rebel Yell stuff as well. And we have a couple of members, don't we, really, that sort of say, I had to dip out, or and I think you also now understand you don't even need to tell us if that needs to happen. We just know that that's okay.
Definitely.
You're doing what you need to do, and we'd much rather you do that than suffer when, you know, through.
That's right. If it's not healthy, or if you're not enjoying it, then don't put yourself through it. And you know, the rest of the team and Rebel Yard Club and Rebels and Rule Breakers are all really supportive for me in doing as much or as little as I need to do or can do at any one time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you know, when we think about this word rebellion, because it means a lot of different things to different people, and you know, we've been on a mission for the last nearly 18 months to redefine this word rebellion. What does it mean for you personally?
It's hard to put into words, really, because I think it's about action. I think you can't just, you know, say the words, you have to follow them up with actions. So for me, rebelling is actually not just thinking about a different idea, or, you know, thinking, actually, I disagree with that, but actually then doing something about it and taking an action against that. So, for instance, just being non-binary and coming out and saying that, you know, that was rebelling against lots of voices in my head. It was rebelling against things that I thought from the past that were being mapped onto the non-binary thing. I suppose as well, I rebel a lot against past unhealthy cycles So I'm really into breaking cycles, no matter where they come from, whether it's childhood, adulthood, old age, whatever. You've got to learn and to break cycles that are unhealthy, because to me, that's part of why we're here, and we have to pass that on. So hopefully by me breaking the cycle, people that have seen how I'm breaking that cycle, or people that are on this journey with me, will take something from that and break their own cycles. And eventually there'll be that many bad cycles broken that we won't have all the crap that we're putting up with today. And it's like I said earlier, you've got to start with your own world first. You've got to change that first.
Yes. Do you know what? I'm so into that, Nadia, that, you know, it would be easy to look at what we do in here and in other, you know, other groups and places like it, and think, well, this is just small fry stuff. You know, this is about, you know, saying who you are, or breaking a rule about, you know, something trivial or small that you do in your life, or how you think. And so what? We've got a war going on, or we've got, you know, we've got whatever going on. We've got this crisis or that crisis. But you know, I truly believe that all of this stuff, as you've you know, eloquently put, it starts with you. You know, it starts with your world. Paul, by the way, is saying the Martelli party have my vote. And you know, if we behave differently, and I really like what you said about breaking cycles, because that's what it's about. It's about changing programs, isn't it? That we've rerun and run and run and run in our heads forever. If we can do that, we become role models. That energy becomes infectious. People see, you know, start to question what they're doing, and maybe, you know, model what other people are doing, and that has a ripple effect, isn't it? And it's I've got
that from you, Emma, and other people in the group. But you are, you know, you lead by example. You're very inspirational. You put yourself out there. Everything I've said, you know, I've gained from you and what you're doing with Rebels and Rule Breakers for the past year and a half. I've been on a journey that's been led by you and the Master Rebel team, whoever's been in that team at the time, you know. So kudos, really.
You are, you know, you need to, you know, give yourself massive credit for that, because you're the one that's made those decisions and taken those opportunities and made those choices, you know. And I appreciate you know, those comments. Actually, really, it means a lot to me, because that's what I'm not trying to, you know, be the guru or preach something. I'm trying to create a space where people ask themselves questions. Give themselves opportunities to do something different. And thank you, Charlotte. That's a lovely comment too. Now we've got a couple of questions from the group. Lisa is asking, it's about daily, both questions are about daily routines, but very different questions. Lisa wants to know what your skincare routine is, because she's very impressed with your complexion. And
which Lisa are we talking about?
Lisa Avens. And Paul is asking, does Nadia have any daily routines that help their mental well-being that might help others? So very different scale of questions there, but both about
I'll answer the easy one first. My skincare involves nothing other than water and soap.
There we go, people, you heard it here. Not expensive.
I think it comes from my mum's side of the family. My mum's part Nigerian, and she's got really good skin. And my dad was Italian, and I think
what a combo.
They have great skin as well. So it's not a lot. I mean, I did get from Vicky Avis's Temple Spa. I got some facial stuff that I do use from time to time, and I did want to use it today before the interview. And I was looking for it in my bag, saying to Mark, "It's not here. It's not here." I thought, you know what? People take me as they find me. So it's my skincare is pretty much zero, I'm afraid, Lisa. Sorry to say that.
You're so lucky. I'm like, if I even think about, you know, putting, like, honestly, my skin will be listening to me now, and if I even say the words, I'll just use soap and water, it'll just go just in protest immediately.
Oh, bless you. No, I don't have to sit for hours and self-care in that
very,
way.
very lucky.
No. And to answer Paul's question, what do I do to help my mental health? I suppose I have go-tos, you know. So I'll always get up before about 7:30, because I like to see the morning start. Sometimes it's a bit too early. Sometimes I wake up from a nightmare at 4 o'clock and can't get back to sleep. That's different, but I love to see the morning come in. So I'll get up, I'll have a cup of coffee, I have a cigarette, I talk to Mark, I'll go on my iPad for a bit. And then if anything feels difficult or triggering, normally I just go and talk to Mark about it, or I phone a friend, or I'll post something, or I'll journal, or I suppose journaling's really important for me, actually, Paul, to answer the question. That would probably be it, is that most days, in phases, but most days I will write something in my notebook. And that's partly for me to keep track of where I'm at, because I've got multiple personalities going on. But it's also to express myself and to question myself and to become more self-aware and to make sure that I'm processing things correctly and not distorting things. And I talk to my little brother a lot as well. He phones me every single night to check in on me, every night without fail. And my sister's there as well, phoning and checking what's going on and how I am. So yeah, that's
sending you love, by the way, Michaela, if you're watching this on YouTube at a later date.
Shout out, definitely. So yeah, I think it's just journaling and talking to the right people who I trust and who I know I can bounce things off, who'll listen non-judgmentally as I would.
Yeah. Well, that's great advice, actually. And I know Paul will resonate with the journaling bit and the getting up early bit, because he loves it, an early morning walk before he goes and does whatever else he's got planned that day. You know, and it is quite often the simple things, isn't it? And reaching out, you know, I think that's, you know, some of the other messages that I've got from what you've said there, that it's easy to you know, get sort of stuck in a corner, get into your own head, but actually there's some really simple things you can do to reach out. And like Paul's saying, talking to the right people, having a great support group, and you know, even like you say, posting, and it's that, you know, kind of making a connection with the external world thing.
That's right.
Really important, isn't it? I saw a piece actually, I don't know if you would be aware of Mel Robbins, she's like a motivational guru, and I saw a piece on LinkedIn yesterday. She did a bit where it started with a like in bed under a duvet and saying, you know, if you're feeling like shit, just get out of bed, just get out of bed. Nothing good is happening if you're moping around in bed. And I actually found that, part of me found that really triggering, actually, because I was like, if I want to stay in bed, I will stay in bed, actually. You know, if I'm feeling pretty bad, I will stay in bed. And I think you have to get to know your process, don't you? My process is I have to sort of wallow a little bit. I have to hibernate and, you know, lock down a little bit sometimes. And then when I've got over the initial thing of that, whatever it is, then I start reaching out. And sometimes I have to force myself to get beyond that barrier. But like Lisa's saying now, reaching out is so important, something I don't do enough, but will strive to do on the strength of what you said now. That's brilliant, Lisa.
I would always say reach out. I mean, that's what's kept me going, kept me alive at times, whether it be to family and friends, or whether it be to the mental health helpline, or the Samaritans, or, you know, LGBTQ lines, or whatever it might have been in the past. I've always reached out. And I think that's why I've always had really solid friendships as well, because I really like to reach out and support at the same time. So it's always give and take with me. So definitely reach out, Lisa.
And you know, Lisa, you've got us here for you.
Definitely.
And you know, Lisa does a great warrior goddess impression. you know, when stuff's piling up.
Right.
But she, you know, she's definitely getting better at that kind of
Cool.
you know, reaching out thing as well, I think.
Yeah.
So we've done some good chat. Let's do a little roundup.
Okay.
I suppose my final question for you, Nadia, would be what advice would you give anyone who, you know, people who are watching this and are resonating with anything you've said as regards to, you know, experiences you've had, any mental health situations, or, you know, just putting themselves out there and, like you say, breaking cycles and being committed to your own personal growth. What advice would you have to people out there?
I would say keep questioning, and once you've found an answer, do something about it.
Nice.
That
is stellar.
That's in a nutshell. I suppose everything I've said would be my advice, really, because that's why I've sort of shared myself tonight. And I'd say there's a lot of maybe clues to advice in what we've both talked about and in the comments that have come through. But yeah, keep questioning, and that way you raise your self-awareness and you can pass that on. And that goes back to what we were saying earlier, pass it on.
I'm smiling
about it.
I'm smiling my head off here, not only because that is bloody brilliant advice, but because in my head I am already creating a Canva meme that has a quote on with your name underneath it saying keep questioning, and once you've found the answer, do something about it, because that is like guru advice, that.
Okay, cool. I'm glad
so you might
works.
see that on social media platforms soon.
Okay, I'm glad it works.
Absolutely brilliant. Cool. So anything else you would add, you know, a sort of final message, or, you know, anything like that for us before we round up and people get a chance to very quickly ask any final questions that you've got of Nadia?
I always end my posts with one love, and that's not a shallow thing. It really is, meaning one love to yourself, one love to your loved ones, one love to rebels and rule breakers and the Rebel Yell Club. And keep rebelling.
That's brilliant. You know, I've never thought to ask you about the one love thing. I've just always kind of felt the vibe. I just think that's beautiful. And how wonderful that one of the comments we've got in there right now from Paul is, in my view, this is the best R&R interview since we began.
Oh, bless it.
That's cracking, isn't it?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, wow. Great stuff.
Let's have lots of one loves in the comments, people.
Excellent. I'm glad people have found it of interest and of use.
I'm loving it. Nadia, thank you so much. This has been.
Thank you.
I've so looked forward to this, and I knew it would be great, and it is not disappointed. And in fact, it's probably even better than I thought it would be.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody who's watched, I nearly said dialed in like we're on some sort of corporate webinar. No, dialed in. Everyone who's watched, who's contributed, who's just hanging back in, you know, and enjoying it. Everyone who watches it in the future on replay, and please comment if you're watching it in the future. If you're watching this on YouTube on the Chief Rebel channel, then great. If you're not subscribed to the Chief Rebel channel, why not?
Do it.
Absolutely. And keep rebelling, everybody. Keep rebelling, and we will see you in the group. Bye.
Bye.